Views expressed on this program are those of the hosts, guests, and callers, and are not necessarily those of this station, its management, or other advertisers. You're listening to Transformation Talk Radio.
Get ready to experience the truth. Welcome to Truth Talk Radio with your host, Deb Acker. Truth Talk Radio is the hit show that will illuminate the truth in your daily life as you experience life, love, and abundance from a whole new perspective. Unleash your intuitive nature while Deb helps you stop looking outside yourself for value and happiness, break through patterns, and move into your authentic truth at lightning speed. Truth Talk Radio will leave you feeling lighter, help you live with more presence, passion, and clarity, and bring you into a place of infinite possibilities every day in every way. Now here's your host, Deb Acker.
Hello, everyone. I'm Deb Acker, and you are listening to Truth Talk on Transformation Talk Radio. Stay with me for the next hour as I help you experience the truth, nothing but the truth. Every first and third Wednesday at 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern, I'll have some of the most gifted, inspiring, and unique souls, speakers, and authors helping to move you into more light, love, and, of course, truth. And before we get started today, I'd like to start out today's show with an intention. And my intention for today's show is that everyone that needs to hear this conversation hears it, and that you leave feeling expansive, inspired, lit up, and open to whatever messages want to come through in today's show. And so with that, I'd like to introduce today's guest, Siobhan McCauley. Siobhan is a pioneer in the emerging field of modern-day spirituality and entrepreneurship. As CEO and founder of the Stirring the Soul Consulting Incorporated, she guides a growing community of women through a new economic paradigm to change the way we work, live, and relate to others and each other. And I personally connected with Siobhan around her wanting to create a business her way and really do what's true for her. And so with that, I'd like to welcome her to the show. Welcome. How are you?
I'm great, Deb. How are you?
Good. So I'm excited to have this conversation today and see what wants to unfold. So tell us, tell us about your journey. How did you get on this journey and into this work?
Well, it's been a long journey. It began really with me teaching yoga and spending about 15 years as an educator in that field. And that encompassed a lot of other things. I also worked as a professional astrologer for a number of years. I taught shamanic dream workshops. I did a lot of different things in the healing arts. And I got really frustrated after about 15 years because instead of my income going up as my expertise increased, my income actually went down. And I thought that this had to do with the market being saturated and there just being too many people trying to do the same thing. I later learned that there was some sort of internal blocks that I had to move through in order to get to a point where I could actually understand the value of what it was that I had to offer and be able to position that in a way that would allow me to earn what I felt it was worth in the world. And so there was a long process involved, part of which meant I had cancer and had to recover from that. And it was on the tails of that I really changed how I was approaching the work that I was doing in the world and started to become more serious, I guess, as an entrepreneur. And early on in my business, I had some great success, great traction really quickly with my online business as I started to transfer sort of my knowledge and experience to an online format. And as a result of that kind of rapid growth, there were a lot of things that I didn't really I didn't make clear decisions about. I kind of did things by default because things were moving pretty rapidly. And in hindsight, what ended up happening was I saw that I had achieved some success financially, but I had also done things in a way that weren't really going to be sustainable for me for the long run. And the reason for that was because I see myself as somebody who's really interested in creating great work that matters. So I'm much more process focused than I am end result focused. And so I really had to kind of turn things around in my business model to accommodate for who I really was. And so that's really the bulk of the work that I do now, is working with other creatives. A lot of I've got a workshop coming up now in Knoxville where I live, and it's all marketing for makers is what we call it, because this is a big maker city. We just got named a maker city on Etsy. So the people that I work with are like myself. They're very artistic. They're healers and artists, and they're process oriented, because that's really built in. It's hardwired into who they are, because healing and our artistic abilities come out in a process. They don't come out as like an end result and then that's done. We're always reiterating what we're doing, kind of chewing on a theme is sort of what I see us doing. And so our job is to just continuously be improving on that theme.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So tell me more, because I know you mentioned this marketing for makers. You're not talking about the alcohol makers, right? Is that it's a different?
Yeah.
I just want to tell me more about what that means to you.
Okay, so you know what Etsy is, right?
Yes, yeah.
So Etsy has a thing where they different cities around the world can be classified as official maker cities. Maker being an artisan, anyone who's creative, anyone who's doing like production work or distribution, people who are online educators or entrepreneurs who are creative, essentially. So it's musicians, artists, writers, graphic designers, everything. And so this year, Knoxville was officially named a maker city. And so there's a real movement here with the local government to support the growth of that community, to make sure that they don't, kind of get lost, because the way that makers view the world is very different. That's sort of inherent to who they are, is that they see a different possibility and they think about things differently. And they are by nature disruptors, is what I say, because they're kind of disrupting the status quo, the way that everybody else is looking at possibilities. And a lot of the time they don't recognize that that's actually who they are until someone sort of points it out for them. And by accident, they're kind of leading change, but they're not being very effective as change makers, because they haven't really taken ownership for their role as leaders in that transformation process. So this is a marketing for makers workshop that helps them to really recognize who they are, what their strengths are, so that they can really own them, and then make sure that they find the people that really want what they have.
Yeah. So like my question to you, for someone who defines himself in that category and yet does kind of see themselves sort of going in the general direction of like where everyone's going, where they're like, oh, this is what's logical to do, or this is kind of like the right thing to do. What are your recommendations? How does someone start to actually really get into alignment, right? And follow their heart and follow their passion and really follow that, move towards their purpose?
Yeah, I think, like I said, for myself, when my business first got going online, I made a lot of decisions just by default because things were moving rapidly. And so if we experience a bit of success, then we tend not to kind of question the decisions that we're making. So an example in my case was my business was growing rapidly. I needed help kind of on the back end. Someone to handle layout and design for newsletters, someone to format contracts, someone to do a lot of the admin between myself and my clients in terms of delivering enrollment packages and things like that. And even just website design stuff, because I was busy doing the work with my clients. I didn't make a lot of decisions, though. I just sort of reacted to the growth of the business. And as a result of that, that meant that I didn't necessarily hire the right people for the right jobs at the right price point for the business to be able to manage that kind of growth and expansion. So that's one of the ways that I would say people struggle. And knowing where you want to go and what your objective is really prudent at the start.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think one thing it's like that. It's so many times, and I know I'm guilty of this too. It's like we get into that habit of just keep moving forward and pushing forward, and you just kind of keep it's like, especially too, if the money's coming in, it's like, it can be easy to just keep moving towards it without actually being, in that mindfulness and that consciousness of like, is this what I really want? And is this aligned for me? Is this really on purpose, for me? So yeah, no, I definitely think that, that whole piece is really important to have that support. And then also to just begin to really have that consciousness and just, start to move into that. So we are actually going to take a quick break here. You are listening to Truth Talk. I'm your host, Deb Acker. When we returned, we are going to explore more with Siobhan. So stay tuned. We will be right back.
What if your body and mind were the compasses to the secrets, mysteries, and magic of life? Glenna Rice, co-host of The Questionable Parent, is inviting you to access all that is possible. Glenna is a 10-year certified veteran access consciousness facilitator who offers an amazing variety of life-changing classes and workshops. Work with Glenna from anywhere, with teleclasses and workshops all over the globe. To learn more and see Glenna's current schedule of events, classes, and workshops, visit glennarice.com.
Wow. Hey, everyone. Welcome. Welcome to the Dr. Pat Show. This is Talk Radio to Thrive By. I'm telling you, I got to pinch myself some days, because when each of us gets called to do something that we so not thought was in our wheelhouse to do for a purpose that's so much greater than us, we get to show up and shine.
If you would like to show up and shine on the Dr. Pat Show as a co-host or sponsor, send us an email to inspire@thedrpatshow.com.
Tune in to The Truth is Funny with Colette Steffen each Wednesday at 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern on TransformationTalkRadio.com. This hit show will have you thinking outside the box and riding the wave of infinite potential. Join Colette on the Higher Self Network, inspiring listeners to shine their brilliance and ensure success while roaring with laughter as they recognize the humor of the giant cosmic joke. Visit thetruthisfunny.com.
Have you felt a lot of fear and self-doubt in your life where you feel like you never know what's right for you? As a result, maybe you've made yourself invisible or haven't fully put yourself out there. Hi, my name is Deb Acker. In addition to being the host of Truth Talk Radio, I'm an intuitive life coach and energy healer. I clear energy blocks to all areas of life, including stepping into your power to be confident and visible in your relationships and the world. Did you know fear, self-doubt, feeling invisible, and not feeling comfortable to put yourself out there are all linked to not being in your power? What if you could always feel powerful and on purpose at all times? I used to spend a lot of time hiding in fear and self-doubt. Now I'm not afraid to put myself out there on a bigger scale, and most importantly, I know what's right for me in every moment, and I take action accordingly. On the other side, I now help others with this, and if you're ready to be powerful and confident and let go of the fear that holds you back from a bigger life, I'd love to gift you with my pattern identification session. Simply contact me on the contact page of my website, DeborahAcker.com. That's DeborahAcker.com. And let me know you heard about this gift through Transformation Talk Radio. I look forward to connecting soon.
Sky Siegel co-hosts one of today's most popular psychic shows, Angels and Answers, with Artie Hoffman, as she communicates healing messages from the spirit world. These messages can be astounding, enlightening, and life-changing. Born with the God-given talent of inner guidance and the amazing ability to heal, Sky has healed thousands of people. Schedule a reading with Sky now. Call 908-500-1474 and visit skyofangels.com.
Welcome back to Truth Talk. I am your host, Deb Acker. Today we are talking with Siobhan McCauley. And before we continue, Siobhan, can you actually give the listeners your contact information, please?
Yeah, sure. You can find me online at www.stirringthesoul.com and on Facebook by the same name, Stirring the Soul. And I'm pretty regularly on Facebook. That's a good place to catch me.
Awesome. So before we left, we were talking really about this whole idea of really moving towards your purpose. So tell me as you're moving towards your purpose and really, what do you think really gets in the way of it? Like what stops us from moving towards our purpose?
Well, there can be a lot of different things that stop us. I think the challenge is knowing which of those things it is, so we know whether or not to keep moving forward or to really sort of heed the call. And in the online space in particular, because the online entrepreneurial coaching space has just really exploded in the last couple of years, things like mindset and limiting beliefs have really become sort of very normal conversation if you hang out in the online space at all. Most people know what that means if they're spending any time online. So a lot of the time in that sort of system of thought, you're going to sort of be educated that if you're stopping, it's just a limiting belief, and no matter what, you have to keep going. There's a lot of talk that says, no matter what, just never quit. And Seth Godin has a good an edit on that quote, and he says that lots of successful people quit. They quit all the time. They just know when to quit and they know what to quit. And I'm really in agreement with him around that sometimes the paths that we're pursuing, they're not defined by our own value system. They're defined by a collective value system. And so if you're the kind of person who is always on the fringe, you're a disruptor by nature because you tend to see and think about things differently than the rest of the world. If you've always sort of been the person who was a little bit odd or different, then everyone else's values are not going to be a good fit for you, most likely. So it's really important to pay attention to your value system and to make sure that the metrics that you use to measure your own success by are based on your values, not somebody else's. And a really simple way that I give my clients is a way to understand whether it's a belief system or a value that's being called into question is that a limiting belief will usually say to us, I can't do this. That's what the voice in our head says. I can't do it. I can't do it. Whereas with a value system, it's a very different feeling. With a value being challenged, it feels like I can't not do this. We sort of feel called or compelled to move in a particular direction, even if it means saying no to something like big cash rewards. You know, the person who is driven by a value system that says, I want to create something of meaning, or I don't want to just work. I want to be challenged creatively, to always be doing my best work and always be improving on it. That person's going to feel called by their inherent value system to keep pushing in that direction, even if it means not making as much money.
Yeah, I think it's so important too, because it can be so easy to get wrapped up in that cash flow and in that, just like, it can be such a motivator. And you might even hear that other people saying to you, like, you can't leave this, like you're doing so well. And it's like, you know, much of the work I do with my clients is really about how do we be true to ourselves. And it's so funny because like one place that this is coming up for me right now, it's like, okay, like you can either fit in or you can, you know, change the world, but it's like you can't do both, right? And
absolutely.
there can be so many times where our message gets like, you know, it's like we have this message we want to bring to the world and it's freaking edgy, or it's, you know, it's out of the norm. It's out of our comfort zone. And yet, you know, we've got all our friends or old friendships or people we know going, oh no, like that's never going to work. Like that's crazy. You know, what are your recommendations when we sort of have that voice inside that's like, you know, deep at the pit of your bones, like you're meant to do this, and you've got all these outward voices going, you can't, that's not logical. That's not the right thing to do.
Well, again, I think there's a couple things happening there. If what we're coming up against is the voice of other people sort of telling us what we can and can't do, then it's usually a limiting belief. But if we're really clear that it is something that's internal, it's something like you said, sort of it's in the pit of your body, you feel it in your bones. I have to do this. This is what I'm called to do. That's a value. That's like, this is who I'm here to be on this planet. And if I don't do this, there's not really much point in me being here. Right? That's a value. That's the thing that we want to follow. And I think the thing that's really important to remember is that every human being has something unique to offer to the world. Every human being has the ability to lead. Not everybody's going to choose to do that. There are lots of people who refer to themselves as change makers, but they're not actually leading change. They might be using sort of the word change makers because it's kind of a buzzword as far as marketing goes,
right.
But they're not leading change. They're actually doing things exactly the same way that everybody else is. So there's no change involved in that at all. If what you really want to do is to help people change, if what you really want to do is to help them have a transformational experience that leaves them seeing different possibilities, thinking differently about who they are, what they could do, then you have to understand that you are going to be alone in that a lot of the time. It's lonely on the fringe.
Yeah,
there's no way around it. So if you're alone, that's a good sign.
Right. So it's like a piece of it is this reframe on being alone and that being a bad thing, right? It's like, or being in the minority versus the majority. I can totally relate to that too, because the message that I just was actually at a speaking retreat, and the message, the cohesiveness and the message I want to bring forth in the world is edgy. I'm like, it's the kind of message for me that makes me, it's like, this is absolutely what I came here to, to share and to who I came here to be. And, it's kind of like, it's one of those things, like if it doesn't really scare you on some level,
mm-hmm.
it's like, I always believe, for me personally, the fear is something I know that I'm meant to lean into, right? That I'm meant to, like, okay, like this is scaring me. That's actually a really, really good thing. How do you, what are your reframes on fear and how you look at it and really leaning into that and being in the minority with your message?
Well, I think it comes back to those metrics again and how you measure your success. Like early on, my goal was to make money because I was trying to break out of this, problematic career of gaining lots of experience, but not really being paid for it. So money was a metric for me to measure my success. And I was able to hit six figures very rapidly. And then I started scaling my business. And as I started to scale my business and I hit my initial goal of $20,000 a month, it was, oh, okay, well, now what? How do I evaluate success now that I've hit this goal? It happened much more quickly than I expected. So as I started to reconsider those things again, I had to think about, like, it's not really my job to have millions of people know what it is that I'm thinking. I just have to find one or two people who really love what it is I'm doing, and they'll be the ones who will take that message out there. That's how a tribe forms. That's how a leader leads. A leader doesn't lead everyone directly. It's sort of a trickle-down effect through everybody else. So it's our followers who really have to take the message out into the world for us, not us. So understanding that my job is to be as good as I can at what it is I do in every single relationship, never knowing whether that's the one person who's going to create the tipping point where now all of a sudden this message is not going to be on the fringe. It's actually going to become more mainstream thought. And then my job will be to keep reiterating that. So the way that I look at my business building now is based on what I would call a triple line or a triple bottom line based on purpose, passion, and being profitable, not just for me, but for the people who work with me and for our clients. And that means that everything that we do has to be measurable in some way. It has to be actionable and it has to be meaningful. And so that's how I measure whether we're succeeding or not. And profitability is sometimes money, but sometimes it's like it's profitable in terms of relationships. It's networks, it's connection, it's access to a different audience. It's not always about money.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Well, and how did, in the beginning phases of your business when it sounds like it was actually really like in a really strong flow and ease. How did you look at that ease as it was happening? Like, I mean, obviously there's gratitude there, but then it's like, was that to you kind of a red flag or a warning sign? Like, hey, this is so easy. Like, I mean, maybe not, but I'm just curious.
I welcomed it. It was a really nice change. And I was coming out of 8 months of treatment and recovery from cancer. So there wasn't a lot of time to think is what I would say. I literally went from, at death's door to within a year going from welfare to $20,000 a month. So I didn't really think a lot about what was happening as it was happening. I just trusted that I must be on the right path if things were moving forward.
Awesome. So we're going to take a quick break here. You are listening to Truth Talk. I am your host, Deb Acker. When we return, we're going to explore more with Siobhan. So stay tuned. We will be right back.
On the cutting edge of the new mainstream, Christine Upchurch is passionate about bringing together science, psychology, and spirituality in a way that can be applied to our everyday lives for true transformation. The Christine Upchurch Show, stellar conversations to illuminate your journey, engages some of the most outstanding visionaries on the planet in lively dialogue to inspire you to become that bright light you're meant to be. Join Christine every Friday at 11 a.m. Pacific Time on KKNW, AM 1150, and Transformation Talk Radio.
Dr. Bree Gibbs is a fourth-generation high priestess with the knowledge to raise your vibration in conscious creation. Offering a wide variety of services from goddess light and shamanic healing seminars to private reading sessions, Bree works with you so you too can stand in your own power. Isn't it about time you took your life into your own hands? For more information about Bree's services and products, visit silvergaia.net. That's silver, GAIA.net.
Are you anxious, worried, or insecure? Hi, I'm Dr. Friedman Schaub. I'm the author of The Fear and Anxiety Solution. Join me for my next breakthrough video seminar, which starts on September 10th. This program has helped thousands of people worldwide to overcome their struggles with anxiety, and I'm certain it can also help you. If you're ready to be free again and have a stronger foundation of inner peace and confidence, visit thefearandanxietysolution.com.
Get ready to experience Truth Talk Radio with host Deb Acker. Tune in to Truth Talk Radio each Wednesday at 3 p.m. Pacific on TransformationTalkRadio.com to illuminate the truth in your daily life as you experience life, love, and abundance from a whole new perspective. This hit show will leave you feeling lighter and bring you into a place of infinite possibilities every day in every way. Visit TruthTalkRadioshow.com for upcoming transformative topics and guests.
Are you feeling stagnant or blocked in your love life, career, health, or finances? Experiencing difficulty focusing or setting and achieving goals? Tune in to Spiritual Diagnostics Radio with psychic visionary healers Carol Dorian and Suzanne Evans. Discover the cause and effect of unwanted patterns in life. Tune in every Tuesday at 12 p.m. Pacific on Transformation Talk Radio. For more information, visit spiritualdeed.com.
There are so many resources out there for meditation. But did you know that Atana's Heart Earth Healing Meditation is available for you for free? Yes, that's right. You can receive this free healing meditation today from Atana Vadili. All you need to do is visit his website, atanamethod.com. That's ATAANA method.com and sign up. You will receive your free meditation instantly. That's atanamethod.com.
We're back on Truth Talk, and for those just tuning in, I'm here talking with Siobhan McCauley about leading change and how we move through it. And I want to switch gears here for a moment and talk about your journey with cancer. How do you think that shaped who you are now and shaped even the work that you're doing now?
Well, it gave me some real perspective. I was diagnosed, and initially I had uterine cancer, which means that they basically have to open you up in order to give a complete diagnosis. And at the time, based just on biopsies, they had told me that it was a fast-growing, aggressive cancer. And so they wanted to do a total hysterectomy, a quite aggressive surgery. But in Canada, which is where I was living at the time, medicine is government supported. So there's big backlogs for surgeries. I had to wait 2 months before I was able to actually have my surgery and have the diagnosis confirmed again to see the extent of the spread. So when I went into the hospital, I thought that I was going in just for 4 or 5 days for surgery. And I ended up being in there for 2 months because of complications as a result of the surgery. And my recovery period was quite a bit longer as a result. So I had a lot of time to think about what was going on in my life and what had, got me to that point. And one of the things that I became really aware of was there's real truth to this idea that anger and resentment will build up and manifest in other forms, specifically in the body. And I wouldn't have thought that I was somebody who was actually angry and resentful, but I could see in hindsight how I had a lot of anger and resentment and a lot of frustration about feeling unheard and unrecognized for who I was and the ideas that I had invested 15 years in this career. I had taught in all different environments and multiple countries, big, small cities, everything. You name it, I'd done it. I'd trained teachers. I'd had a studio. And I felt really kind of overlooked, I guess is what it is. And so there was some very strong resentment around that, I think. And part of the healing process for me was really taking ownership for the fact that it was nobody else's fault that I wasn't making more money 15 years down the road than I was at the start of my teaching career, that was really on me. And I had to take responsibility for learning how to change my relationship to the value that I was bringing to the world. And it was my responsibility to look at my business as a business. Many people, yoga teachers in particular, just say, oh, well, it seems like a nice lifestyle, but they never really think of themselves as entrepreneurs. They don't think of themselves as owning a business unless they've got a brick and mortar business. And even then, they don't necessarily plan it, act like they're really running a business. So for me, it was a big shift to take responsibility for all of that. And there was a real sense of urgency and motivation. At the time, my partner was living here in Tennessee. I was living in Toronto. And I was really clear that, okay, enough of this long distance thing. Let's be in the same place at one time. And so there was a real motivation on my part to build my business to a point where I would have the means to be able to make that transition should I want to. And I decided to, and I was able to get a visa because of my business to move to the States. So there were a lot of things that were very enticing about moving forward in that direction. But like I say, I got them all so quickly. When I sort of arrived here a year later, all of a sudden I was like, okay, now what? And I had to start the process all over again. And I realized then that it was like, oh yeah, it never ends. If we're always focused on an end result, we're never happy when we get the thing that we want, because then we have to look for another end result to motivate us, to mobilize that energy to do what it's going to take to get it. And so that's when I sort of took the experience of what I learned by applying what I would call sort of an end result method of building a business, and start applying that to what is more natural to who I am, which is more process oriented.
Well, and it's interesting, right? Because it's like our human wiring to always keep reaching for the next endpoint. And in the process, many times it can be really, really easy for us to miss sort of the journey, like the everyday, and just like being present in the everyday. And it's like, as I build my business, I was talking to a coach the other day, and she's like, she was using kind of the pain method of trying to sell me on her work. And I'm like, and I realized that I had made this shift from that whole really desiring that endpoint, which is much of where I've spent my life. And then also being just like, okay, like this is where I am now. And one day I'm going to look back at that and go, oh my God, that was such an amazing time. Like, why couldn't I have enjoyed it, while I was there? Why couldn't I have just enjoyed it, being in it versus like always needing to get to that endpoint? How do you, what are some ways that you stay focused on, on the everyday and the here and the now, and just really being present?
Well, I have to say, now that I'm here in Tennessee with my partner, that really shifted things for me, because when I first arrived here, it really was a little bit of a collision course that happened. And it took several months, like 12 months before I was really able to kind of slow down from the momentum that had gone into the business. Because once the business had grown to a certain point, then it kind of started to take on a life of its own. And it kept growing, but that meant that I had to keep up with it. And when I got here, life was moving at a much slower pace. And I started to question, is this the right thing? Because clearly the two were not going to coexist well together. Being here and having this life with my partner and continuing to build the business in the way that I had. And it took me many, many months to be willing to accept things as they were instead of expecting them to be the way that I wanted them to be. And to be okay with letting go and essentially starting over again and rebuilding in a way that would allow me to not miss the very thing that I had worked hard for, which was I wanted my life with my partner, and now I'm here. And if I keep going in the direction that I am, like, this relationship isn't going to last. That's what's going to get sacrificed. And so for me personally, the easiest thing is, my partner is very helpful at keeping me in the present moment. He's really good at just, saying, hey, do you want to stop for lunch? Hey, do you want to knock off early and go for a hike? So I'm being constantly reminded why I made the decision to do everything that I did to get here, and to recognize that if I don't value this present moment, then what did I do it for?
Right. Well, yeah, absolutely. It's really getting focused in that, in that present moment. It's so interesting because it's as I've gone through my journey and everything, it's just the joy is now. The joy is in the journey. Mm-hmm. The joy is now. And we are here and we are now. It is now if we choose it. Do you have any recommendations or any advice around how you let go? Because for many people that can be really hard. That can be one of the hardest things.
Well, I think that, the work that I do with my clients is very values driven, because when we understand what it is we really value, then it's really easy to make a decision. You don't have to second guess yourself. You know what the right decision is. It's very clear. So I would say spend time getting clear on what your values actually are, and understand that your values are constantly changing. They're not necessarily going to be the same as they were 5 years ago. So once you know that, though, you can use your values as a way to kind of evaluate, is this the right direction? Does this feel right for me? Because there will be that pull that says, if I don't do this, I'm going to somehow go against who I intrinsically am. And we'll know when somebody's offering an opportunity to us that's not aligned with our values, we're going to feel it right away. So as far as letting go goes, I think the thing to understand is that the pain that is caused from not letting go is the resistance to what actually already is. A lot of the time we have this idea in our mind of who we're supposed to be or how things were supposed to work out. I thought I was going to move here and I was going to have this great income and I was going to be able to make a contribution financially to our life together. And then I realized, I can't do that and live the kind of life that I want and run my business the way that I was running it to be able to maintain that revenue. So something has to give. And I knew that the thing that wasn't going to give was the relationship. If I was going to sacrifice anything, it was going to be the revenue. Yeah. So the sooner we could recognize when we're resisting what actually is, the easier it is to just let go. And then as soon as we let go, there's no more pain anymore, right? Everything just has a way of working itself out.
Yeah. Well, and I say too, it's this attachment around, an idea or an outcome. Many times when we do that, we think we're keeping ourselves safe, or we think we're protecting ourselves. We think, we're creating something great. And yet we rule out the possibility of something better happening.
Absolutely.
And something that could be for our highest good that might lead to even something better than that, but that may be painful in the moment. And so, yeah, absolutely. It's so important just to let go and open to what's in front of you and open to what, so open to what's for your highest good, which may not be what you quote unquote are desiring or what you perceive to be quote unquote good.
Yeah, and I think when we have a process focus as opposed to an end result focus, it opens up the possibility that we can always improve on what we're doing. And so then we can look at it and say, okay, we're making great money here, but there's all these other ways that we're not necessarily doing our best work. How can we improve on that?
Right. Exactly. Exactly. Like how, this is when we can move into just really doing our best work and what that looks like, and really opening to what that looks like, as opposed to having sort of a set way that it's supposed to look. Yeah, no, absolutely. Absolutely. So we're going to move into our final segment here. And in this final segment, what I want to do is do a vibration activation and an energy clearing around some of the ideas that we've talked about today that may be stopping us from really going through that change and really moving into the maker, into the leader that we are here to be in this world. And for those of you guys who are new to energy clearing, what I'm going to do is I'm going to connect you to the light. And the light is really the truth of who we are. It's the truth of who we came here to be. And it is what I've seen is the quickest way for us to really shift and really step into that truth. So I'll connect you to the light, and I will walk you through this step by step. And then what I'll do is have you expand that light out 5 feet, 10 feet, all the way out to the entire universe. And I really do that because, again, that's the return to our power. It's the return to our truth, and it's the return to infinite possibilities, because infinite possibilities do lie beyond attachment. And then from there, I might say something like, basically, everywhere you're attached to an idea, everywhere that you're attached to an outcome, and you want to just see that coming out of your body. And I might give you a positive alternative to breathe in, like light or infinite possibilities. So you're just going to see that coming out of your body, and then just breathe in a positive alternative. If there's something that comes up that I don't mention that's a positive alternative, feel free to breathe that in as well. And so with that, I'm going to just have you start by just planting your feet nice and flat on the floor, and just taking a nice deep breath. Just breathing in through your nose and just filling your belly and the sides of the body, the chest and the legs with air. And just exhaling out nice and slow. Just breathing in through your nose and just filling your belly, the sides of the body, the chest and the legs with air. And just exhaling out nice and slow. And just connecting to the light that's 300 feet above our heads. And we naturally do this when we pray. So just see, sense, or feel that light. And just bringing this liquid light down in past your forehead, down past your eyes, so that you can see the truth of who you are, the truth of who you came here to be. And moving that liquid light down past your nose, past your ears, so you can hear the truth of who you are and the truth of who you came here to be. And moving that liquid light down into your mouth and into your throat, so you can really speak out the truth of who you are and the truth of who you came here to be. And just moving this liquid light across your shoulders, down past your heart, good, so that you can feel the truth of who you are and the truth of who you came here to be. And moving that liquid light down past your stomach and into your hips, so you can stand, ground in, and create the truth of who you are and the truth of who you came here to be. And moving that liquid light down past your legs and out through your feet, so you can move towards the truth of who you are and the true truth of who you came here to be. And just connecting into the center of the earth that feels like mother's love. It's all ooey and gooey and warm and nurturing. And just allowing that liquid light to come back up through your feet, up through your legs, up through your torso, and up through your face. And again, just a liquid light shower, just covering every crevice of your face. Good. Down your neck, across your shoulders, down your back, down your arms, out through your fingertips, down your hips, down your legs, and out through your feet. And back up through your feet, up through your legs, up through your torso, and up through your face. And one more time, just a liquid light shower just coming down through your face, down your neck, across your shoulders, down your torso, down your hips, down your legs, and out through your feet. And back up through your feet, up through your legs, up through your torso, and up through your face. And just expanding that light from above and below. Go ahead and expand that light. See that light covering the entire room that you're in. Wherever you are, just allowing your shoulders to come back and just open, expanding, and breathing, and open, expanding, and breathing, and allowing that liquid light to come and expand into the entire building that you're in, wherever you are. Just open, expanding, and breathing. Good. Open, expanding, and breathing, and expanding that liquid light out past the entire city that you're in. Again, wherever you are located, shoulders are back, chest is nice and wide, and just open, expanding, and breathing, and open, expanding, and breathing. And allowing that liquid light to expand out past the entire state or country that you're in, wherever you are. Just again, open, expanding, and breathing, and open, expanding, and breathing, and open, expanding, and breathing, and allowing that liquid light to cover the entire continent that you're on, wherever you are. Again, just seeing that liquid light covering the entire continent, just open, expanding, and breathing. Good. Open, expanding, and breathing. And open, expanding, and breathing. And allowing that liquid light to cover the entire world. So just super, super, super big, and just open, expanding, and breathing, just covering across the entire world. Just open, expanding, and breathing. And open, expanding, and breathing. Good. Open, expanding, and breathing. And now out past the entire universe, past all the planets, past all the galaxies. Just open, expanding, and breathing. Good. Open, expanding, and breathing. And open, expanding, and breathing. And just everywhere that as your expertise goes up, your income goes down. And everywhere that that's the case, where there's this direct correlation to as your expertise is going up, your income is going down, just exhaling that out of your body and just breathing in infinite possibilities, breathing in having it all, just breathing in both of those, right? So it's not an either or, it's a having it all, it's an infinite possibilities. So again, breathing in infinite possibilities, breathing in having it all, breathing in infinite possibilities, breathing in light, breathing in having it all, breathing in infinite choice. And just everywhere that you are getting caught up in some way in what others are saying, and it's stopping you from moving towards your purpose. It's stopping you from moving towards who you came here to be, how you came here to show up, and what you came here to do in this lifetime. Just exhaling that out and just breathing in your purpose. And again, breathing in that infinite possibilities and breathing in your purpose and breathing in infinite possibilities and breathing in truth and breathing in light and breathing in your purpose and breathing in truth and breathing in light and breathing in your purpose and breathing in truth, breathing in light and breathing in your purpose. And just everywhere you're when you're chasing success, you're not actually really doing what you love. You're not being conscious that this is something you actually truly want to do. It's something that you love. It's something that really feels right and feels aligned for you. Just exhaling that out of your body and just breathing in truth and breathing in this light and breathing in your purpose, breathing in truth, breathing in light, breathing in your purpose, and breathing in truth, breathing in light, breathing in purpose, and breathing in truth, breathing in light, breathing in your purpose. And everywhere in some way, you're just you keep unconsciously moving forward. You're falling into a rut. You're just doing basically what you think you should do. Just exhaling that out of your body and just breathing in truth, breathing in light, and breathing in this having it all, right? So you can be abundant and be on purpose. So just breathing in purpose, breathing in abundance, breathing in purpose, breathing in abundance, breathing in purpose, breathing in abundance, breathing in purpose, breathing in abundance. And everywhere in some way you're not moving towards what's juicy for you and what's exciting for you. Just exhaling that out and breathing in that juiciness, breathing in that excitement. So just breathing in that juiciness, breathing in excitement, breathing in juiciness, breathing in excitement. And everywhere in some way you are wanting to quit or to give up, or you're using that as sort of a guide, just exhaling that out of your body and just breathing in that alignment and breathing in that purpose, breathing in alignment, breathing in purpose, breathing in alignment, breathing in purpose, breathing in alignment, breathing in purpose. And everywhere in some way you are attached to an idea, you are attached to an outcome. Just exhaling that out of your body and just breathing in letting go, breathing in truth, breathing in light, and breathing in letting go, breathing in truth, breathing in light, and breathing in letting go, breathing in truth, breathing in light. And everywhere you are blocking yourself, you're stopping yourself from really letting go. Everywhere you're trying to determine what's actually the right thing versus just allowing it to be what it is, right? Allowing yourself to really to move into the flow, move into the magic and the miracles that this life has for us, right? So just exhaling out everywhere you're resisting really that letting go and you're trying to hold on really tightly, and just breathing in that magic, breathing in that flow, breathing in those miracles that are in store. Again, breathing in that magic, breathing in that flow, breathing in those miracles, and breathing in that magic, breathing in in that flow, breathing in those miracles, and breathing in that magic, breathing in that flow, breathing in those miracles. And everywhere you're not listening to that feeling in your body that says, this isn't right, this isn't what I'm meant to be doing. So everywhere you're shutting down that feeling, that knowing that what feels right, of what you're meant to be doing, and you're just moving towards it anyway, because maybe it's yielding something in the physical world like money, that feels like, oh, this is what life is really all about. Just exhaling that out of your body and just breathing in that truth, breathing in that light, breathing in that truth, breathing in that light, and breathing in that true purpose. And breathing in truth, breathing in light, and breathing in that true purpose. And one more time, just breathing in that truth, breathing in that light, and just breathing in that true purpose. And just taking a nice deep inhale and exhale, and just feeling your body in the chair, feeling your feet nice and flat on the floor, just bringing yourself back into the room wherever you are, just really getting connected and just being in, grounding in your purpose and grounding in the truth of who you are, the truth of who you came here to be, and grounding in that light and how light that truly feels. And one more nice deep breath, deep inhale and exhale. And just with that, I want to thank my guest, Siobhan McCauley, for sharing such great information. And I want to thank you all for tuning into Truth Talk. I always love hearing from my audience. If you have a comment on the show or would like to introduce yourself, you can send me a note on the contact page of my website at deboraacker.com. And there you can find out more about the work that I do and sign up for my free Living in Your Truth guide. And in 2 weeks on Truth Talk, we'll be talking to Hay House author Rebecca Campbell about her new book, Rise, Sister, Rise. So in the meantime, I hope you have a great week, and I look forward to talking with you next time.
Thank you for listening to Truth Talk Radio with your host, Deb Acker. Tune into Truth Talk Radio every Wednesday at 3 Pacific Time on TransformationTalkRadio.com and experience the truth of who you are and who you came here to be. Each week, Deb interviews an inspiring guest and illuminates the truth to a wide range of topics, including love, life, purpose, career, consciousness, and abundance. Welcome to the world of infinite possibilities. For more information about Deb, including how to contact or work with her, visit truthtalkradioshow.com. Look forward to seeing you next week for more Truth Talk Radio.